Ben is an African-American boy, with a difficult life and many difficulties. Together with his family they decide to move to Boston. Unfortunately he begins to suffer from constant bullying. He thinks he is a very bad boy and has the worst grades in class. He only has the support of his mother, who does everything possible to bring food home. He believes everything his classmates say about him. They tell him that he is not capable of going far, but his mother makes him understand that this is not the case, and that he is not stupid and that he has a world inside his brain and he just has to discover it. The days go by and both Ben and his brother waste a lot of time watching television programs that do not provide them with anything positive. And this makes Ben's performance at school increasingly lower. One day in church he finally had his first imagination of himself. When the pastor was preaching, he imagined himself being a doctor and he was running away from some bandits. The boy imagined everything perfectly, and when he returned home very happy he told his mother, who took advantage of the opportunity and motivated him to be a doctor. And so it was. Years later, in addition to being a doctor, he managed to specialize as a pediatric neurosurgeon. During a surgery he received a call, so when he finished he went to his boss, who unexpectedly gave him the case of a pair of conjoined twins joined at the head. Until that moment, there had been no record of who had survived such a complicated separation. But if they were not separated, the risk of the children losing their lives was greater. So he had traveled to Germany to examine them. He was very honest with the children's parents and told them that the probability of them staying alive was 10% since they could bleed to death. Dr. Ben was not sure about continuing due to the complexity of the operation, but when he saw his son, he put himself in that mother's place. So he accepted the case, but asked for a period of 4 months, to dedicate himself to research and ask God for wisdom. Since Google did not exist at that time, he had to read thousands of medical books and look for a concrete solution. Ben remembered how he became a neurosurgeon. He was the dumbest in school. In addition, they were sunk in poverty. At school he always got the worst grades, and for this reason the director asked his agent for help. Then his mother made him practice more at home. He asked his mother for help because he did not understand the words. At that precise moment his mother realized that he needed glasses. So she made the sacrifice and bought them for him. After that, he magically started getting good grades. The mother begins to enter a state of depression to the point of being admitted to a hospital. For this reason, Ben and his brother take care of many things. Sometime later his mother leaves the psychiatric hospital and gets a new job at the library. She begins to change her children's routine and makes them watch television programs that nourish them with knowledge. In addition, she forces them to read 2 books every week. From that moment on, he began to be interested in reading and knowing the meaning of each unknown word. In this way he stopped being the idiot of the class. He had progressed so much that on television programs he answered almost all the questions quickly, since his vocabulary was very wide. 4 years later Ben gets the academic certificate for being the #1 student. He and his mother were very happy, but after receiving the award, they are both humiliated, ridiculed and discriminated against in public by an authority of the academic committee. So at that moment, they take the award away from him and give it to one of his classmates with a light skin tone. Ben and his mother leave with great dignity and without giving importance to what just happened. After that, they moved and his mother sent him to a better school so that he would be valued. He thought it would be a good thing, but soon he realized that it was not. His new classmates also bullied him. For this reason, Ben begins to change his temperament to the point of becoming very aggressive. Until one day while Ben was listening to his music, his friend went to change the radio station, but Ben didn't like his audacity, so they started arguing and he took an object to attack the boy, but miraculously nothing happened. Thanks to the belt on his pants that protected him, very repentant he runs home. He hugs the Bible and asks for forgiveness, with all his heart, begging him to get rid of that anger that he has inside him. Years later, at university, he listens to a lecture about the wonders of the brain, and then discovers that he wants to be a neurosurgeon. He tells his wife Melissa about it and she supports him in his studies, so he begins to prepare, even dreaming about the exam. When the day of the exam arrives, he remembers the dream and successfully completes it, obtaining the best grade. It was to be expected since he had a special gift. Some time later, he finishes university and gets a job in a hospital, although it was not so easy for him to get in. He managed to convince Dr. Alvar Heli on his first day of work. The head nurse, upon seeing the color of Ben's skin, did not believe that he was a doctor. However, with his attitude, he wins the affection of everyone. One day, an emergency arrives and there is no doctor available. So Ben is forced to take the risk of the operation. In the end, he is congratulated by the director since everything is fine. It had been a success, thanks to having made the right decision years later. This is how Ben becomes a pediatric neurosurgeon, and he starts to receive complex cases from all over the world, from children who give him no hope. But he always looks for a way to solve the problem and manages to cure them. But one day a very special case arrives, that of a girl called Cynthia diagnosed with epilepsy with mental retardation. Her parents are desperate and sad. They no longer want to see their daughter suffer from the recurrent crises she has had for almost her entire life. So the only alternative for the girl to have a normal life is to subject her to an extremely risky operation. Ben is a believer in God and has a lot of faith and always studies each case waiting for answers from God. He studies the case thoroughly until he finds a possible solution, but this one is very complicated, since half of her brain must be removed. And there is the possibility that there may be irreversible consequences. She could even lose her speech. As the girl's parents accepted the risk, they prepared the operating room and began the delicate open skull operation, until finally after a long 10-hour day, it was finished. But there was a problem: the girl was not responding. He immediately notified her parents and everyone waited for her progress, and shortly after, when they least expected it, the girl miraculously woke up talking. Within minutes, the hospital was filled with journalists wanting to interview Dr. Ben, who only declared that her brain was a wonderful thing. At nightfall, at home, his wife was pregnant with twins and begins to have problems. So Ben takes her to the emergency hospital. After a long wait and much anguish, the doctor informs him that his wife is fine, but unfortunately, the twins lost their lives. That was very devastating news for him, who feels desperate, having been unable to do anything. His wife is as sad as he is. However, she tells Ben that he must go to work because there are many children who need him. When he arrived at the hospital, he continued to care for the patients with the same love and care as always, accepting his pain with great courage, although sometimes he became discouraged and asked God for help. When he got home, he did what he had been putting up with all day: pray and cry for the loss of his babies. The next day, he received a case of conjoined twins. He spends his time reading all the books and entrusting his gift to God and still has doubts. But a colleague tells him that if he doesn't do that, no one else would do it. The day of the operation arrives, so he organizes the medical team and lets them know that it is a very delicate operation where he must avoid bleeding at all costs. Because if this happens, he will have to sacrifice one of the babies to save the other. And to prevent that from happening, he must stop their hearts for an hour. The same is made known to the parents of the twins. And he tells them that they need to pray. When everything is ready to begin, the tension rises and the anguish is felt in the waiting room, while in the operating room they proceed with the intervention. Almost 7 hours have passed and they still haven't finished. The doctors are working as quickly as possible because by stopping the heart they only have 1 hour left to finish. So it's time to stop hearts and the countdown begins. They are desperate. They are fighting against time, but they manage to finish at the last second. Now they go ahead and start resuscitations. Although the operation took twice as long as expected, Dr. Ben was able to finish on time. After 22 hours, Ben goes to the baby's parents to give them the good news. The parents are very excited and grateful to God and the doctor. Everyone feels very happy, and the doctor knows that without God, he would not have made it. Thanks to God and Dr. Benjamin Cardona, the baby survived the surgery and then returned to Germany. Since that operation, Ben has operated on at least 5,000 craniopagus twins, hundreds of children, and hemispherectomy is now an accepted treatment for young children with severe and frequent seizures. He and his wife are founders of the Carson Scholarship for those who strive for academic excellence. As you can see, twins Johann and Stefan have been important in the history of medicine, as they were the first twins who could be separated without either of them losing their lives. Dr. Ben Carson existed in real life and is a clear example of overcoming, and the best example that a mother is the best support for the future of her children. He is currently 72 years old. His color did not limit him from being the best American neurosurgeon, writer and politician. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video of overcoming, leave your comment and give it a like.